Hello everyone, we are here at the Norisring and the weather today is different. It's cloudy, it's a bit windy, a lot cooler. We're enjoying it and we're looking forward to race 8 today. After all the action yesterday, let's see what today brings. The man who's leading the championship is Maro Engel. He is 9 points ahead of Lucky Hour and 10 points ahead of Nicky Team. So that's very interesting there. And knowing Maro, I mean, he's fighting for this one, as is everybody else. And after today, we've got halftime in the season, which is pretty crazy. But first, we need to get qualifying. And because the Norisring is so tricky and so tight, we have the qualifying split into two. We'll have Group A starting and then Group B. And yeah, so let's find out. Let's see. Let's go qualifying.
Thank you very much, Verena. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the streets of Nuremberg. You get 2 for the price of 1 in qualifying here at the Norisring. The cars split into 2 groups, as Verena's already mentioned. So the group that went first yesterday will be going second today. So in theory, we'll have a slightly faster track. The group that went second yesterday will be going first today. So it's Group B that will be going first today, and yesterday's winner will be part of that group. Well, I need to bring you a bit of an update from yesterday. You'll note that 2 names are missing from Group B. We had a fairly sizable accident in the race yesterday that brought out a red flag. As we look at those point standings that Verena was just mentioning, the 2 cars involved in that accident were Max Powell and Kelvin van der Linde, and both drivers were taken to hospital. Just to report back on them, Kelvin van der Linde is a little bit bruised and shaken up, but he's all good. I believe he is now at home. Max Powell has spent the night in hospital. We believe he's got a broken lower leg and a little bit of injury to his lower back. He had surgery overnight. It's all gone well. Expected to make a full recovery. Clearly, we're not going to be seeing Max for a few weeks, and we wish him all the absolute best. Get well soon, Max. We already miss you, and hope to see you back on track soon. Grasser are currently looking for another Temerario chassis. As we look again at the incident, you can see it was coming into turn 1. It seems that Max may have hit some fluid or something on the outside of that corner that caused him to turn right, and then he collected Kelvin van der Linde on that sharp 180 turn 1. Both cars making a very, very big impact. Clearly, both cars fairly terminally damaged, and Max's, as I already mentioned, the Temerario, that is had its first proper crash test, and Grasser will be looking for another chassis if they can get one for Oschersleben. The Schubert Motorsport BMW, although Kelvin is okay, a little bit bruised, they did actually get another chassis on standby, and we're going to get one here for today, but I think have very wisely decided that Kelvin probably needs to rest up and come back stronger at Oschersleben. But it was a very large accident, and we are so pleased for all the safety features, particularly from Lamborghini and BMW, and in the DTM, safety comes absolutely first. Both drivers will make a full recovery, and both of them will be back on the grid. The headline yesterday, though, went to this man here. He's only won twice in the DTM, and both times it has been at the Norisring. Should we start calling him Mr. Norisring yet or not? Nicky Team, he started on pole position 3 times in his career. 2 of them have been here at the Norisring as well. Arjun Maini, the Indian driver, got his first podium of the year, finishing in 3rd place. And Lucas Auer, he had a strong day yesterday as well, finishing in 4th place. But boy, did he put the pressure onto Arjun Maini all the way through. Overnight, there have been some changes to the BOP. We thought it might be incoming. We certainly heard from Thomas Preining. He was very frustrated with the pace from the Porsche, and Porsche have been allowed to unload 15 kilograms for today. The BMW is also 10 kilograms lighter with a little bit of a boost pressure increase, about 0.02 bar as well. Everybody else, well, most of the other cars have had a weight increase. Aston Martin plus 15 kilos, and with the success ballast as well in the race, Nicky Tim is going to be carrying around an extra 35 kilos compared to yesterday. The Ford is going to be 10 kilograms heavier, the Mercedes 10 kilograms heavier, and the McLaren 10 kilograms heavier as well. The Mercedes has also had a tweak to the lambda value. That affects the air and fuel mixture, so a slight reduction in power for that car. So it could be a very different kind of playing field here today. Nicky Tim, with that success ballast and that BOP change, we'll see how Mr. Norisring he is today in this first of the two qualifying sessions. So 2 less cars in this Group B that are out on track first. As Verena already mentioned, weather conditions, it feels a whole lot cooler today, and there is rumour that there might be some rain around at some point during the day today. Not expecting it during this qualifying session. We haven't had any rain overnight, so I believe the rubber on the track should be all intact. We've had a lot of racing here, so it should be grippy and it should be fairly fast. So while the cars are out just getting themselves up to temperature, it's time for me to introduce the man sat alongside me once again. It was absolutely wonderful to have him with me yesterday. He gave so much insight and so much wisdom. And once again, I say very good morning to Norisring.
Cheers, Brian. Happy to be back. Going into quali day 2, as we see with all the cars prepping their lap. It was very enjoyable to join you yesterday, and I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole new day. Everything very, very different. And who knows what's going to happen? All those BOP changes overnight. And certainly we were talking about Porsche, obviously very close to your heart. And a sense that hopefully the Porsches will be a little bit more in the game for this race today. I spoke to Bastian Boos last night. He was a bit frustrated that they didn't have the pace they wanted. So maybe a little bit more of an opportunity to get back into the game.
Yeah, I very much hope so. It was hurting my heart a little bit, to be honest, to see them fighting so much yesterday and struggling. I obviously paid them all a visit and spoke to all of the drivers and teams, and it should be a bit better today. Let's hope so. It's a short track, and therefore a slight change can make already a big difference. And it would be nice to see them in the fight, because they definitely deserve so.
They certainly do, and Thomas Preining was certainly very frustrated over the radio yesterday, so he will be looking for better today. So, as Verena already mentioned, in the championship, Maro Engel, well, he leapfrogged Matteo Cairoli in quali because he got 2 points for his P2 start in qualifying, and that launched him back to the top of the championship standings, and he now leads the way with 99 points. Lucas Auer in second, 9 points back, and Nicky Tim, that win yesterday's launched him up to third place, just 10 points off the championship standings. And of course that win yesterday was really historic. A second win for Nicky Tim, but a first ever win for Come To You Racing and for Aston Martin in the DTM. So emotional, historic scenes. It's going to be quite a steep mountain to climb to repeat that today. But Nicky Tim, 10 points adrift of Maro Engel in the point standings. Matteo Cairoli, well, it shows how quickly things can change. This is not playing games. Just quickly, tell us what they're doing here, because they're not just having a little game because they're bored, are they?
I think Gilles is preparing his holiday, actually.
Yeah,
no, it's just a nice activation exercise to get into your zone, to just warm up the body a bit and get some reflexes going. And it's just good to have some fun. As you see, he's getting ready, and you also shouldn't overstress it. Just have some fun and be ready to jump into the car later. Obviously, they drive the second group, so it's a bit of waiting. They'll have an interested eye on the other guys, but they also need to stay relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting just getting up to speed there. So that's really good to see that. Right, well, back to the championship. So Matteo Cairoli, who was leading the championship coming into this weekend, now down to fourth, 16 points adrift of Maro Engel. Ben Durr had that disqualification yesterday in quali. He came back well in the race, kept out of trouble, came back to 10th place from stone last, so he did a good job there, and he is fifth in the championship at the moment, 26 points back from Maro Engel. In the team standings, Winwood jumped from third to first with 142 points, Emil Frey Racing in second. Schubert, who were leading the way in the teams, are down to third place with 119. In the manufacturers' standings, it's Mercedes-AMG who lead the way with 194 points, Ferrari with 140, BMW with 123. And finally, in the pit stop challenge, what a stop from Come To You Racing yesterday. A sub 6 second stop. I think it was 5.8, wasn't it? It was a mega stop from Come To You just when they needed it. And they move up to 5th place in the pit stop challenge. That is now being led by Emil Fry Racing, who have broken clear of Manthey. So 14 points to Emil Fry. Manthey in 2nd with 12 points, and in 3rd, Schubert with 7 points. 4th, Landgraf with 4 points. So that, all the championship standings as they are at the moment, but of course it can all change in a heartbeat, and indeed will change after this session, because the pole sitter will get 3 points, 2nd on the grid will get 2, 3rd will get 1. And as was the case yesterday, the fastest driver from either Group A or Group B will start on pole position, and the rest of their group will start on that row behind them. So it's not just about who's quickest in the group, it's who's quickest between the two groups. And yesterday, it was Nicky Tim. In Group B, it looked like Maro Engel was going to get that pole position, even though he went in the group that went first. But Nicky Tim is the one who beat that time, and it was a 48.449. So at the moment, you can see Lucas Auer with a 50.894. Still building up, and I know we've mentioned this yesterday, but tell us again, what are they doing now? What is going on? Why is Lucas Auer just circulating around the track with 3 other cars at the moment?
Yeah, so as we saw at the beginning of the session, all cars exited the pits and they did either 1 or 2 laps, dragging the brakes and getting some temperature in both the brake disc but also into the tires to heat them really from the inside. And as we saw yesterday, and today is a confirmation that they were happy with their strategies, that the Mercedes is basically deciding to start the quali early and keep doing their laps until the end. And it was quite surprising to see that they could even still improve in the last lap, which confirms also what we spoke about yesterday, that there's not that much tire degradation going on here. As we see also the other cars now exiting the pits, and with 13 minutes to go, they're planning to do quite some laps, and Luki is slowly increasing his pace already.
How do you cope with it as a driver? And you were racing DTM last year. Hopefully we're going to be seeing you again racing at DTM next year, who knows? But how do you cope with it when every session the car is different? That's often what happens. I mean, you look here, the Mercedes is suddenly 10 kilograms heavier than it was yesterday as a result of the BOP change, and it's got the lambda value that's been tweaked as well. How do you, as a driver, cope when every time you sit in the car, it's a different car almost?
Yeah, that's a great question, to be honest, and it's far overlooked at, I think, because not even the BOP and the different weight, and for the Mercedes the lambda, for the Porsche the restrictor. In general, temperatures change, as we see Bastian Guus.
So Auer will box in a few laps, so you don't need to take care about him. Next car behind you is Glock. He's in the same sequence than us, so keep track position.
Take care of him. Yeah, brilliant. Carry on.
So as we see today, for example, there's no sun out. So the track condition is slightly different because there's no radiation on the asphalt. And the balance is going to be different. And I think what separates a good driver from a great driver is being able to adapt quickly to that and be on the limit straight away, which is quite difficult for these guys because, as you rightly said, the track conditions and the car will be different almost each session. And the one who adapts to it the best is also the best driver, in my opinion.
And it's very diverse circuits as well across the season. Of course, you've got here the Norisring. Then you look at something like the Red Bull Ring or Oschersleben or Nürburgring or Sachsenring. I mean, that's a tough old track as well, isn't it? And being able to adapt across all of those tracks as well, I guess, is critical.
Yeah, and the tracks change year by year. For example, this year as well, there's a new tire for all the guys, which has a complete different characteristic. So all their notes about this track from last year might be slightly tweaked, or they have to approach it in a different way. And that just shows you have to be able to deliver in the moment and really trust your feeling, your gut feeling on what to do in each place.
Well, there's only 8 cars that are in this session, and 2 of them are tripping over each other already. And there's Tom Callender, who's been getting a little bit too up close and personal with the wall, trying to find a bit of track space. It looks like they're racing, doesn't it, at the moment? He gets past Mirko Bortolotti, but Tom had several encounters with the wall, has had over each session we've had so far. So we'll be wary of that. Seemed pretty distraught when Verena caught up with him in the pits yesterday, having rearranged the left quarter of that Mercedes. So he'll be looking to keep away from that concrete. He keeps a good wide berth there in this quali session. But you mentioned the tyres, the new Pirelli P0 DHG slick tyre with sustainable components, and that's new for this year. And it's exclusive to DTM, which is really interesting. So the drivers that race in GT Masters or GT World Challenge or any other GT3 category, there's no longer, for the teams, that data that can be transferred, is there?
No, exactly. And now it's really down also to the team's performance and the engineers on how to be adaptable and to adapt quick and learn the habits of the tire fast. Because the championship is going quite quick, as you said. It's crazy to imagine we're already at the halfway mark after this race. So it was a very short time in which they needed to learn a complete new tire. And then it's also, as a driver, quite nice to have some good engineers working that.
And you certainly had those when you were racing with Manthey, that's for sure. We've got some real talent here on the DTM grid. This is the creme de la creme of GT racing. Right, how's Thomas Pryny doing? Well, he's still building the heat and the temperature at the moment. The benchmark time, the only driver into the 49s at the moment is Lucas Auer. Luggy with a 49.527. So he is about a second, a little over a second off the fastest time set by Nicky Tim yesterday. With these conditions, a bit cooler, more rubber on the track, but dry. Is the track likely to be slower or faster? There's $1 million question for you.
Yeah,
compared to yesterday.
I do think the track might be a bit faster, but we should not forget that each car got slower and heavier by BOP. So I would not be surprised if we go a little bit slower, actually, just because all the cars gained some weight. Nevertheless, without the sun, it might be that the track is a bit cooler, which normally is good. Still, I would say we will go a little bit slower today.
Well, Timo Glock has gone a bit faster. Purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2. Is he the first to really put in a representative lap? We're about to find out. 49.425. So that's about a second off Nicky Tim's time from yesterday. Nicky himself with a 49.485. The success ballast that we mentioned, he won't be carrying that in the qualifying session, but he will be carrying that in the race later on. So really important for him to do as much as he can during this quali session as we have team radio.
Okay, mate, Golf 3, hour behind, 2 seconds. Let's start pushing.
So a lot of motivation from the engineers. Does that actually make any difference, or does it distract you when you're there and you're trying to get that lap time in and they're going, keep pushing, keep pushing?
I think for him it's good to know that his track position is good and he should keep working on his tires. Obviously, once your first push lap starts and you really have to go for it, it's time for the engineer to keep his mouth shut, basically, and get you into the rhythm, as we'll see Nicky Team now lay down a fast lap, 3 purple sectors. So until now, it seems like the Aston is still fired up. But we're, like I mentioned, we're already 6/10 away from the pole, so there's a bit more to come still.
Yeah, Nicky Tim jumping to the top. Yeah, it was your former teammate, as we look at Timo Glock there, your former teammate Thomas Pryning, who had, it was nice and close to the wall, who had written on the side of his car, don't talk to the bus driver, wasn't it? It was basically, shut up, I know what I'm doing, to misquote Kimi Räikkönen. Yes, Nicky Tim, quickest of all at the moment. So knocking on the door of the 48, so 49.093. And we've said it several times, flirting with the wall. He's gone quicker still in Sector 2 on this lap, a personal best in Sector 1. The quickest of anybody in Sector 1 at the moment is Arjun Maini. So Maini carrying on where he was. Right, 48.995. So Nicky Tim, the first into the 48. So 48.995 He's not a million miles off his fastest time yesterday, about half a second off that. So still more to come, I expect. Here's Arjamani, the Mustang, the noise of that engine echoing around the streets of Nuremberg. That's going to wake up anybody who's having a lie-in today. Nicky Tim continues to improve. So purple in Sector 1, 18.276, very short sectors. Obviously, on account of the fact this track is just 2.162 kilometers around with 5 turns, 4 to the left, 1 to the right. What, Nicky's really pulled the pin. This is his push lap now, isn't it?
Yeah, and he seems really fired up, setting 3 purple sectors again. And also when you looked at the onboard, he is on it. So is Arjun Maini, who is flirting with the wall and just getting away with it.
Precision, I call that. I think he'd call that precision.
Wow, yeah, this is what DTM quali is about, you know, going as close as possible and stretching every little bit out of that car. So really good job from him, and still 4 minutes 45 to go as he improves his lap time as well.
Well, there's a little over 0.6 of a second separating everybody at the moment. So I think everyone's turned the heat up. So as you predicted, we are a little bit slower than the times were yesterday, but that might all change once we get into Group A, which will be going second. Nicky Tim, well, he didn't improve in Sector 1. It was still pretty quick, but Sector 2, he has gone purple again. So continuing to improve. Sector 3, again, it was quick, but it was neither a personal best or a best overall. 48.809 is the benchmark, but Arjamaini now responding. So with time starting to run out, 4 minutes remaining, Arjamaini next out to have a purple sector. Out across the line comes Mirko Bortolotti, still getting to grips with the Lamborghini Huracan, I think. So I think he'll be disappointed. P6 means row 6 because of the format that we've got in quali for Norisring only. Nicky Tim still continuing to improve. So you mentioned tyre degradation, not an issue. He is proving that. Purple and purple again. So Nicky Tim, he's getting a lot out of those tyres, isn't he?
Yeah, he looks really in a happy place this weekend in his Aston. Always fast. And now again improving to a 48.6. So we're actually getting quite close already to the 48.4 that we've seen yesterday. As we also saw earlier, a nice sticker on the car of Mirko with a get well soon for Maximilian Paul.
Brilliant.
So it's great that they're also thinking of him, and we obviously wish regards to him and a speedy recovery.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really nice they've done that. Of course, GRT Grasser running just Mirko Bortolotti as Arjamaini. P2, 48.741, so just 2 drivers into the 48s at the moment. But Grasser running obviously just that one car. And I mentioned it at the top of the show. There's not a lot of Temerario chassis around, and I don't think the one that Max Paul was in yesterday is going to be seeing the track again anytime soon. So they are hunting around to find another one, hopefully for Oschersleben in 3 weeks' time. Although clearly Max Powell will not be behind the wheel of it. He's going to have to take some time out to recover, but we are really looking forward to seeing Max back out on track soon. A top guy, and really a cruel bit of luck yesterday. Arjamaini, personal best in Sector 1, no improvement in Sector 2. Don't see anybody improving too much with 2.25 minutes remaining. At the moment, Nicky Tim, is it possible that he could get a double front row start or even a double pole? He's certainly in such a strong place at the moment. The BOP change overnight doesn't seem to have slowed him down too much, does it?
No, it hasn't. He's in a good mood. Maybe the weight that got into his car, he carried it out as a Viking, you know.
He's going to war, as he often says. 48.648. Remember his time yesterday, his pole time of 48.449. So he's getting closer. He's getting closer to the wall as well. This is precision driving. I've often said it that GTM is the creme de la creme of GT3 races. It's the best of the best. One driver, one car, the best that there are. And you can see how amused the teams are as they look on. How close can you get to the wall? I mean, I can't even park my car in the supermarket properly. To do that is incredible, and at speed and under pressure.
Yeah, and I think it's a great feeling for all of them now. You're in the zone, and I can relate that also sometimes you actually think you're going to hit it, and you just hope you don't, because you have to go so close that nothing will fit in between it. As Nicky is still improving lap after lap, just shaving a few hundreds off as his team and supporters are cheering him on. So he's getting quite close, and I'm surprised that he can keep improving even with 2 yellow sectors, but clearly the middle sector is making up for that.
Yeah, the middle sector is very short as well. It's just into the Scholar S and out, so it's how he is dealing with that chicane, the right and the left, that exit where you go from tarmac onto the concrete paving slabs, and he's really dealing with that well, clearly, with that purple in the middle sector. So Nicky Tim, with 25 seconds remaining, is the fastest man of this group. If he remains in that place, it will be a front row start.
Yeah, and we see now that he backed off this lap, did a cool down, and he will go for a final time. Since he crosses the line with roughly 10 seconds to go, this is his final chance to improve that time. As also Arjun Maini has no chance left after this one, so it's 1 to go.
So it's everything hanging out here now. With the clock strike 0, anybody who's already crossed the line, that lap will count, but anybody who hasn't, that is it. So Mirko Bortolotti, the first to receive the checkered flag. Row 4 is as good as it's going to get for Mirko. So P7, P8 is what we're looking at the moment. Arjun Maini next, Lucas Auer also across the line. Nicky Tim still on that hot lap, but he's not improving, so it doesn't look like he's going to improve on that 48.583. You might say, well, he's at the top, why would he want to improve? But of course, we've got Group A that are coming next. He needs to have a time that's quicker than the fastest car in that group to secure that pole position. But as things stand at the moment, with the checkered flag out, Nicky Tim, yesterday's winner, is going to be starting from the front row again. Don't see that very often in DTM, do we?
No, that's very impressive. And as I said yesterday, I definitely don't rule him out as a title contender if you have this form and can be on pole at least in your group 2 days in a row. It shows that you're not just here for a day's success, and yeah, he's very, very motivated.
So that will also be valuable points for him. That will be either 3 or 2 points, depending on what happens in the next session. So he is delighted. And I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Nicky Tim is campaigning for every DTM race to be held on a street circuit. There we go. Those are your times. A 48.583 for the Viking. He'll be smiling even more after that. Arjun Maini, yesterday's P3 finisher. Strong again. Lucas Auer up there as well. There's your first 3 rows. Then Mirko Bortolotti. Tom Canada kept it out of the wall. Thomas Breining clearly still not enjoying as much pace as he would like. Timo Glock onto row 7 and Bastian Boos on row 8. And he's another one who will be hoping for a little bit better performance here around the streets of the Norisring. The sun is shining. The track is clean. We've had a Group B who have done their final qualifying of the weekend. Everybody flirting with the wall. How many times have you tapped the wall around here then?
Yeah, a few more times than I want to admit.
Yeah, and can confirm it doesn't move. So the crowd is starting to pour in here. It's still quite early in the morning as we now get ready for Group A. That was the group that went first yesterday. So we've got 2 more cars in this than we had in the previous group. This is going to be very, very interesting. And do you know what? I'm looking at that and I'm like, who on earth is the one to watch? Well, clearly Moro Engel is the man who has got so much form at the moment, and he will fancy going one better than he did yesterday. Could it possibly be that we have the same front row as yesterday, but maybe with the drivers swapped over? Because Moro Engel will certainly fancy his chances of that. But Nicky Tim, wow, what a job from him. Normally, when the Sunday comes round, we have an entirely different grid to the Saturday, but there's got a lot of similarities, this, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm very surprised. Also, we see Arjun Maini back there, so it's a lot of familiar faces, and they seem to be in a happy place. So it's going to be very interesting. Also, what's going to happen with Maro now? It's all championship contenders. Let's have a look on Ben Durr as well, who was obviously fast yesterday, and that's a nice message as well.
Right, let's head down to the pits where Verena has got some news for us.
I've got Arjun Maini here. Congratulations, great qualifying for you. You'll definitely be starting in row 2, so happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great quali. Good place to start for the race. Nicky was a bit quick today, so yesterday was tight, but today, yeah, we're missing a bit, so let's see what we can do in the race.
It was starting a bit cloudy, so were the conditions, it probably felt more or less the same as yesterday, right?
Yeah, I mean, these conditions suit us better. So a little bit cooler, usually we are quite a bit stronger, but looks like they are even stronger. So let's see. We have to maybe do some magic setups and try to get some pace and get them in the race.
All right, Arjun, let's see some magic later on. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Verena. Thank you, Arjun. Yes, we like to see a bit of magic. Marco Wittmann needs a bit of magic. He had a horrid day yesterday. The driver from Fiat just up the road. Well, you think there's just 2 of his supporters there. There will be hundreds, maybe thousands. Yes, you're on TV. He's in green. He's not necessarily a Marco Wittmann supporter. He just loves the Norisring. But Marco Wittmann yesterday didn't qualify well, got caught up in an opening lap incident, ended up with a puncture, retired the car. The only absolute small compensation he can draw from it is that he's maybe got some fresher tyres that he can use.
Yeah, and especially today when we have 3 stints, 2 pit stops, it might make a difference. Although the tire degradation, like we said so many times now, it's not that high. So it will not be a huge advantage, but it's maybe that little edge that he needs to climb up the ladder. As they all exit the pits now for their so-called cooking lap.
The cooking lap's got nothing to do with lunch. That's still miles away. It's great to see the stickers on all the cars, the Get Well Soon Max. And these drivers, fierce competitors out on track, but a lot of them really close. It's a real community here. Everybody wishing their best. If Max is watching, and he may well be doing that, we echo the sentiment that we see on the cars. Get well soon, Max. We are looking forward to seeing you back on track as soon as possible. Let's another look at the point standings at the moment, but that is already going to change because Nicky Tim is going to get a minimum of 2 points heading into the race on account that he will be starting somewhere on the front row. Matteo Cairoli, he's going to be a bit frustrated. He came into this weekend with a 1-point lead after the double win, the first double winner of the year in DTM. But it's amazing how quick it can change, getting bumped down into 4th place. And also Ben Durr, although he did get that 10th place yesterday, that was not what he was hoping for after quali. And it's amazing how quick it can change in the point standings, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows that they just have to focus on performing each day. You cannot go into the championship safe mode, so to say. And you always have to be there somewhere in the top 5. And guys have to be on top of their limit. And it's cool, you know, there's not just 2 guys and it's a boring championship hunt. It's really on it.
Right, let's head back down to Verena, who's in the pits.
Genau. And I'm here with Nicky Team. And Nicky, congratulations. You'll be starting in row 1 once again. We'll find out if you will be pole or not, but fantastic job. So especially looking at the championship, now you're 10 points behind the leader. So you'll definitely be getting some points there. That's good.
Yeah, obviously it's good. What can I say? It's still brain shut off when you drive around here. It's just so amazing. So it's, yeah, still trying to realize what just happened. But again, the car is in such a good window. Really enjoy it. And obviously this is my favorite track. So yeah, a big smile on this Holy Sunday morning.
Let's make it a very holy Sunday later on in the race. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show, as Nicky says. Back to you.
Love it. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Marina. Thank you, Nicky. A holy Sunday indeed. Yes, he's certainly making it a day to remember. He really does absolutely love it around here, doesn't he? And of course it was 2 years ago. He was in an altogether different machine. He was in the SSR Performance Lamborghini Huracan, where he took the win around here from pole position. So I don't suppose he was partying too much last night. May well be a different story tonight because really, really looking good around here. Right, well, the cars are circulating, as we've already mentioned, building the temperature in the tyres, in the brakes. When do you know, as a driver, when do you know that the tyres are in the window?
Well, it's really early now already for them to be so. So at the moment, they just mainly look at their temperature and then wait in the box until the temperatures are rising. And then as you start your push laps, you always just in 1 or 2 corners you have a feel, and once it's a feeling. It's hard to say when exactly. It's a feeling, and that's also what distinguishes a great driver, to feel, okay, the tire is ready now I have to switch on and start pushing. So it's not just a plug and play.
No, well, I mean, it's really interesting. You can't even put into words. It's you feel it in the seat of your pants, so to speak, you know, just know where the car is. And that is fascinating. That is. So It's a lot to being a racing driver and a lot that you learn. I guess you learn all those things when you're coming through the ranks, and yourself, you've come through the Porsche Cup Series, you come through Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland and Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, and that's where these series that feed up towards DTM, that's where they're so valuable, I guess, because that's where you're learning, this is when the tyres are in the window.
Absolutely. And then if the level is so high, like in the Porsche Carrera Cups, where you have no tire heaters and it's all about qualifying, basically, it's really a skill that you have to learn and you have to manage. And at the same time, also these guys, they're learning every day. For example, there is this new tire now. It changes the strategy to warm it up. So you have to be adaptable. Even if you're 30 plus and have many championships in your pocket already, you keep learning every day.
Yeah, never stop learning, yeah. Interesting. Exactly. Yeah, interesting. Well, you mentioned this yesterday, that the Mercedes runners in particular are adopting a different strategy to a lot of the other cars. And we see it at the moment, Jules Gounon and Mauro Engel, the two Mercedes runners in this group, out on track. Also Thierry Vermeulen as well. So whilst we've got the other cars in the pits, having said that, Ben Durr's just joining now as well. But while everybody's having the heat-soaked sequence, while the car is cooking, love that, these drivers are out just putting in those laps, so trying an entirely different strategy that seems to suit the Mercedes a lot better. And I guess they will then get that feeling. Jules Gounon, Mauro Engel, they will have that feeling, okay, I can feel it in the car that I'm ready now for that big push lap. You're out there, it's kind of hard to back time because we've still got 14.25 minutes remaining, and clearly in about 13 minutes time, the track is probably going to be at its quickest. So to back time that is quite difficult as well.
Absolutely, and what's also really interesting to see, and when we speak about this so-called feeling, for example, Mauro and Jules, they have the same strategy, same team, and yet they build up their tires differently. Mauro is choosing to push more in the beginning, while Jules is building up his pace up a bit more gradual. And yet, at the end, in 13 minutes and 45 seconds to go, they're going to be within a few tenths or hundreds of each other with a complete different approach. And it just shows how particular and also how personal it can be, how you warm up your tires. We also saw Lucky Auer actually come in during the session to bleed the tire pressure. They might do that as well with Mauro and Jules, so plenty can still happen, and it's still quite open for them as well.
So what does bleeding the tire pressure achieve?
So it just gives a little bit less air, a bit more surface contact with the tire, and just maybe takes out a bit of temperature as well, and it might give them a bit more grip.
And I guess you are looking for those thousandths, because it is thousandths often separating the cars on the grid. So that little bit of tire pressure, I guess, can make all the difference.
Yeah, tire pressure is so important in these cars. Since it's just a one compound spec for all those cars, you know, front engine, rear engine, complete different wheelbases. So with the tire pressure.
Lucas, so Engel, Gounon and Vermeulen stayed out. I guess they have the same strategy as Mercedes yesterday. And was just the first car going out. We stopped our planned leaving time is in about 1.5 minutes.
As you hear his engineer Leo Wipperstek showing him on. And as I said, with one compound on all those different concepts, it can be quite specific, and it can be a different way for each team to handle that.
Yeah, interesting. Everything different, everything personal to a driver, to the team. And as you mentioned, I mean, it's incredible, the BOP. We talk about it. Sometimes people switch off when we talk about BOP, but isn't it amazing that we have a formula so you can have something like a big growling Mustang or a Mercedes racing against a McLaren, racing against a Ferrari, an Aston Martin, a BMW, and you've got front engine, mid-engine, rear engine, you have turbocharged, you have naturally aspirated, and they're all separated. You can get a field separated by less than a second. The BOP, love it or hate it, it means that we can see 8 different manufacturers in the DTM, which is what we've got this year, sometimes even more, racing on what is a level playing field.
Yeah, it's simply amazing, and we're really living in a golden era of GT racing, in my opinion. Also what we see in the big endurance races, and even certain Formula 1 World Champion joining for a few of them. It's just great to see, and I think we should all be happy. Yesterday I was walking through the paddock and seeing so many fans again. It's just incredible.
haven't got the official number for this weekend. Last year, I think we were knocking on the door of about 120,000 fans here. I reckon it's going to be absolutely rammed here later on today. They're still pouring into the circuit as we see Mauro Engel just peeling off into the pit lane at the moment. The benchmark that he has set at the moment is a 49.460. You can see from the graphic on your screen that Nicky Tim's 48.583 is safe at the moment, but Jules Gounon, purple in sector 1, so now heading into part two of qualifying. So this is when people are now going to be starting to think seriously about that pole position time. The drivers started to pull the pin, so Jules Gounon, quickest of anybody in this session in sectors 1 and sector 2. He comes out to cross the line and he goes quickest, a 49.401. But we reckon possibly a second still to come from these cars. So still building the temperature, building the heats, going with that strategy. Marco Mappelli, we're riding there, as well as Ricardo Feller out on track. Jules Gounon continuing. We've got everybody out on track at the moment, apart from Mauro Engel, who, having done all those laps, is now peeled off into the pits. So what do you reckon Mauro is going to do now?
So now, like we said, what Lucky Hour also did, they're going to bleed the tire pressures and he's going to go out again. Probably they're also going to try to wait and aim for a clear spot on track. Although I have to say, looking at the track map, it's spread out quite equally, and finding a slot is not going to be the easiest task, but he just pulled out of his gantry, rejoining the track shortly, as Jules is now joining the box. So yeah, like said, the Mercedes are having an identical strategy to their colleague Lucky Hour, and that's a great opportunity for Mauro, because now he will be able to jump into the gap that Jules is leaving, and he has some clear track ahead of him.
Oh, well, that's great strategy, that, isn't it? Do you think the team have worked that out, that one would go into the gap when the other one came out?
I guess so, yeah. They're all quite smart.
That is amazing. That's forward thinking, isn't it? Right, Ben Durr, the quickest of anybody. He will want to put the memories of yesterday behind him, because he was really quick in quali. Got a position right near the top of the grid, but then had that time taken away by the car being underweight. It was P4 that he had qualified yesterday, but the car was 8.5 kilos underweight, which is a mistake that Come To You will be regretting. I don't imagine it would have had that much of an advantage. It would have been some kind of an advantage. But Come To You, who are still relatively new. Remember, they won yesterday. It's only their second season in DTM, as Matteo Cairoli goes up to the second row with a 49.435, Jules Gounon a 49.401. But Come To You, their rate of progress, I remember when they came into at the start of last year, and their pit stops were quite slow, and they were learning, and there was mistakes here, mistakes there, and now they are such a slick operation. And that pit stop yesterday, which was mega for Nicky Tim, of course Nicola Bart also in the team as well, and Come To You Racing have just taken a leap up through the rankings, as we see Matteo Cairoli now the quickest in sector 1, but in sector 2, Finn Wiebelhaus is the quickest in sector 1. So here comes the Disco Snail to stop the clock, first into the 48s. 48.999. So Finn Wiebelhaus, again, the Mustang looking strong.
Yeah, definitely. I think you meant actually Durr there being underweight.
What did I say?
Come To You. Which is all okay.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, beg your pardon. Early in the morning.
Yeah,
yes.
We need you an extra coffee.
Yeah, I need that. Yes, Come To You. Ben Durr underway for Durr Racing. Oh dear.
Yeah, but nevertheless, Durr is looking quite strong also today. So let's keep an eye on him. And obviously 8.5 kilos is helping a bit lap time wise, but it's also not changing the complete picture. So I think he will be strong today, and it will be interesting to follow, as the Ford is also looking very pacey at the moment, already going to a 48.7. So we might actually see us going under this 48.58 that Nicky Tim has set.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it? Also, Matteo Cairoli at 48.992. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant there. So, yes, Marco Wittmann, local driver, personal best in Sector 1 and Sector 2 as well. Finn Wiebelhaus continuing to improve. Nicky Tim's time for Come To You Racing, 48.583. Ben Durr for Durr Motorsport, we got there on row 3 at the moment, and he will be looking to improve on that, because he's now jumped down drop down to row 4 because Marco Wittmann, that's a good job from the BMW. He was briefly up onto row 3 because Ben Durr has responded at 49.023. So with 6 minutes remaining of this session, Finn Wiebelhaus to the top of 48.694. We're about a tenth of Nicky Tim's time. You can see him showing his teeth and looking a little bit nervous. Is he nervous? I don't think he gets that nervous, does he? Looking on from the pits, nothing else he can do now about that fastest time. He's now waiting to see whether anybody from this group can go quicker than 48.583 and move him to the outside front row. Ben Durr, the next to respond. A personal best in Sector 1, a purple in Sector 2. Out across the line comes Ben Durr, but the purple in Sector 2 now it's gone to Matteo Cairoli, so he's looking a lot quicker today than he was yesterday. So Cairoli on a quick lap as well. Ben Durr up to row 2. Matteo Cairoli on row 4 at the moment, but this is almost certainly going to be an improvement. Here he goes up to row 3 for Matteo Cairoli. Still, Finn Wiebelhaus with a 48.694. He's the quickest. Nicky Tim can only look on nervously as he sees what is going to happen next.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting now also with Maro exiting the pits a few laps ago, as Marco Wittmann is also setting a purple sector, so he definitely found some pace overnight, which is good for him with his home crowd. So let's see if he can also jump to the top or if he's close. It's going to be a 49.0. So yeah, the Ford at the moment seems to be the strongest one, still with plenty of laps to come, and I expect Maro will also be there soon.
Finn Wiebelhaus is having a sensational debut year in the DTM, and if he can put this on the front row and keep it on the front row, that would be spectacular. Everybody trying to improve at the moment with 4¼ minutes on the clock. There's Thierry Vermeulen, personal best in Sector 1, but not in Sector 2. He's trying to improve on row 8. He does that. He's up to row 5. Still, nobody has attacked the time of that man there. The Viking looking on in the Come To You Racing garage, 48.583. Finn Wiebelhaus is the man who is the quickest in this group at the moment. Ben Durr with that 48.715, so back up onto the second row for him. Matteo Cairoli third, Mauro Engel on row 4, so maybe the strategy that the Mercedes was using not working so much in this session, or maybe it's the BOP change, but I should think that Mauro Engel will be wanting to try and move up from there.
I think we still have more to come from him, as he said, 2 green sectors, as I think Nicky Tim is having a really hard time to watch this. I can imagine, but he can be in a comfortable position because he's more than 1/10 clear at the moment. That being said, 3 minutes at the Norisring, a lot can happen. So I'm sure he's watching with great interest and maybe not the most relaxed feeling at the moment.
Normally, you'd expect Group B to take the pole position time, but we saw it last year with Jordan Pepper. It was a car in the first group of runners that took the fastest time, and it may well happen in this time. Nicky, it's a sense of kind of helplessness. There's nothing else he can do. All he can do is watch and wish away the next probably about 3.5 minutes and find out whether he's got that pole position. And here, pole position and P2, that's a massive difference going into that 180 at the start, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. As we see Ben Durr now getting really, really close to taking the group pole, and he didn't put all the sectors together, so he might actually get close to the overall pole as well. So Nicky can definitely not relax. Yeah, I think in general being on the front row is nice. If it's P1 or P2, obviously they prefer P1, but just being in the front pack is very important. Also to be out of the chaos at the start. As we saw yesterday in turn 1, a lot can happen, unfortunately, although it was not at the start. Still, they want to be up front and avoid the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. As Pavel looking on from Emil Frey Racing very nervously. All the teams now looking on. They've done what they can do. We've got every car out on track. It's 1 minute and 3/4 left of this final sector of qualifying for race 2 here at the Norisring. All cars out on track. Matteo Cairoli was the quickest in Sector 2, but that's now been eclipsed by Marco Wittmann, who had dropped down to row 10. So maybe Mega Marco is going to elevate himself up from row 10. Riding on board with him briefly. Here comes the green and white BMW. Across the line he comes, but no improvement in sector 3, so he stays down on row 10. Nicky Tim still at the moment with pole position. 48.583 is the figure that they're all aiming for. As things stand at the moment, it will be Nicky Tim on pole position with Finn Wieberhaus alongside him on the front row. But with a minute of quali left, Jules Gounon, personal best in sector 1, personal best in sector 2. It's not always purples that get you up there. Jules Gounon up to row 3. So an improvement for Jules Gounon. He moves himself further up the field.
I think that was a great and important lap for him, as we also see Finn Wieberhaus is going to time it to the very last minute. He did a slow lap, and that's either the end for him or he's cooling down for a final push lap, because timing-wise he could manage to do one more lap if he keeps his pace up a little bit. And this is also the start of the last lap for both Ben Durr and Maro Engel. So this is their final chance to do something about that starting position and try and fight the fourth.
See the Gounon bouncing over the bumps there. This track really is quite uneven in places. Of course, it's public roads the rest of the year round. So bumpy, hard work, trying to negotiate your way around all the bumps. Find that clean line as best as you can. Is anybody improving on that time? 48.694 for Finn Wieberhaus, 48.583 for Nicky Tim. As things stand at the moment, the checkered flag is out. Anyone who's on a lap at the moment, Ben Durr, quickest personal best in sector 2, but no improvement at the moment. He's up into the second row. Doesn't look to me like this is going to be for good enough for a front row start.
Let's see, it might be close, and he just misses out. Yeah, so that's Finn Wieberhaus poling in his group, being P2 overall, so great job for him. Matej Karolic still pushing on with a purple middle sector, but sector 1 seemed a little bit off, so I'm not sure if he can still improve, and he stays 5th. So that concludes our grid, I think.
Could it be a double pole position for Nicky Tim? It's looking like it. We're just waiting for Thierry Vermeulen to cross the line for confirmation. But with a 48.694, the quickest from this group, when was the last time we saw that? A double pole position. Nicky Tim, once again, will be starting at what is undoubtedly his favourite track, on pole position with Finn Wieberhaus alongside. Well, we've got an investigation for impeding, and that does involve Finn Wieberhaus, and that is something that they will look at in race control. But no doubts there. Nicky Tim, what an amazing job from him. And what an amazing job from Come To You Racing in the Aston Martin. To remind you, the second season in DTM for Come To You Racing, and they have got a double pole position. Finn Wieberhaus, though, tops this session, and that is his best starting position ever in the DTM in his debut year. Ben Durr will be looking to make up for a disappointing day yesterday in a really strong position there. Jules Gounon, good quali for him. He'll be on row 3 on the outside. Thierry Vermeulen, Matteo Cairoli on row 5. Maro Engel, championship leader, down on row 6. Marco Mappelli, row 7. Nicola Bart, at the other Come To You. Aston Martin's on row 8, ahead of Ricardo Feller. Marco Wittmann, so much promise, but it didn't turn into too much at the end, row 10. And Luca Engstler on row 11. So that was a nail-biting quali session. The 2 quali sessions. Looks like we've got a grid, but this is going to be fascinating. Nicky Tim, who will have all that additional success ballast on board. The Viking shows his teeth. He shakes his head. This is a replay. I think he probably thought it was all gone. And then the reality that he got that pole position, that's going to feel good, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. You heard him say, I hate this. And I can relate to him. It's probably the worst that you can't do anything about it and you just have to pray that it was enough. But clearly it was enough, because he was clear by more than 1/10, around a 48.5 second lap. I think it's quite a substantial margin, so good job to him and his team, and yeah, he's really putting a title charge on there.
It's incredible, isn't it? And of course, those points are going to be very, very valuable to him as well. So an additional 3 points. So that will move him up to within 7 points of Maro Engel in the standings. So that really brings his title charge on even stronger. So it'll be it'll be Nicky Tim who'll start on the pole position, challenging Maro Engel's championship lead. Alongside him, it will be Finn Wieberhaus, and then Arjun Shiny will be P3 on the grid. That's going to be a fascinating race that will come later on today. And of course, the weather may well yet play a part in this. The clouds are around, it's a bit cooler. We can see from the times things are a little bit slower, but it could all change. We've still got a few hours yet before the race starts, and we could have some tricky conditions for the race later on today. Of course, that's still yet to come. Nicky Tim congratulates Ben Durr there as he heads over to the podium. So there you go. 7 points adrift of Maro Engel's championship lead. Lucas Auer, 9 points adrift. It is so close. The important bit this afternoon, scoring points, making sure you finish, not getting involved in any dramas. And he's got another big trophy. He's going to need a wheelbarrow to get that lot home, isn't he?
Yeah, it's nice trophies to have, I guess. I think Norisring is his place, and he'll be looking forward to come back here.
Right, let's head back down to Verena, who's in the pits.
And I'm here with Ben Durr. You fought really hard in the qualifying. You'll be starting in the second row. You happy about that, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. Same close like yesterday. Again, some hundreds to P1. A bit frustrating now for the second time. But yeah, I think second row is not too bad. To start at a Norisring, always important to be in the front. And yeah, looking forward to the race.
It'll be an interesting one. Thank you so much, Ben. Back to you.
Thank you, Verena. And Ben is just showing with his fingers how close it really, really was. So thank you for that. So the pole position award, another one. Got two now that match, both with Norisring on them. So Nicky Tim then with the cool shades on. Even Nicky Tim gets nervous. We saw him there watching that. And there we go. The provisional starting order for race 2. Nicky Tim on pole position. Finn Wiewerhaus alongside Arja Maini and Ben Durr. Is this the battle that we were robbed of yesterday? Lucas Auer and Jules Gounon will be on row 3. Mirko Bortolotti and Thierry Vermeulen on row 4. And then Thierry Vermeulen, Matteo Cairoli, Thomas Preining mid-pack, so can move forward from there. He'll be hopeful of that. Maro Engel, championship leader in 12th. Good quality from Timo Glock in 13th, Marco Mappelli in 14th, then Bastian Buus, Nicola Bart, Ricardo Feller, Marco Wittmann and Luca Engstler at the back of the pack. Of course, we are missing Kelvin van der Linde and Max Paul. Get well soon to both of them. Thank you for joining us for Quali this morning. Do join us for the race. It's going to be another humdinger from myself, Brian Oliver, and Morris Schering. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
And I've got Finn Wiewerhaus here. Congratulations, starting in P2 in the race, and I see a smile on your face. You're happy about that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Norisring is a tough track. It was my first time on Friday driving here in free practice yesterday. I gained some experience and now I was able to attack, have the confidence again after the race. So I guess every lap is helping here. Most of the guys are here for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th time, so they have plenty of laps in the pocket. So for me, it's amazing to stand on P2 now and cannot wait to start the race from there.
We're all very excited. Also, the wind is picking up a bit. You were just saying hopefully it's not going to rain, so that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you want always a bit of mist and rain if you're starting in the back, but in the front you just want a clean race. And yeah, let's hope that the sun is coming out like it does now, so there's hopefully no rain coming.
Sun shining right now, Finn. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. And of course, we're looking forward to a very exciting race in just a bit. You don't want to miss it. See you then. Here are the highlights. Bye-bye.